All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to navigate your way through these very volatile times. The markets seem shaky and nobody knows if we're going up or we're going down. Are we going into bear market? Are we going to see a massive bull run starting right now? Stay tuned to this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and watch the very end because I'm going to tell you how I'm navigating this markets and maybe what you can do too. All right, guys, first thing we're going to dive into right now is investing.com. I always look at this to kind of get a grasp on what's going on in the traditional equities markets. So we can see right now that the entire markets are up in a bullish pattern. We've got all the Dow Jones and S&P all up over the last day or so. And then we look at the indexes, or the futures, and see where investors on Wall Street think that the markets will go when they open back up Monday morning. We can see here in the futures, Dow Jones, they expected to go up, S&P expected to go up, NASDAQ expected to go up. So we're seeing bullish sentiment on Wall Street. And if you watch my prior videos on market crashes and market volatility, you'll see kind of, and I do suggest that you go back and watch those so you can see the overarching view of what's going on in the crypto markets from a macro perspective, the kind of adoption, and how I think that we're going into a super cycle. So right now, as you've probably noticed, the markets are in fear, but last week we were in extreme fear. So people are getting more confidence that we're not going into a dreadful multi-year bloody bear market. Still, in the fear index is a good time to buy into the markets, or at least not sell your assets. Now, this is not financial advice. Anything I say in here is just my opinion, and make sure that you do your own research and make your own decisions. But with that being said, yeah, it is typically when markets are greedy, and when it's over here in the big green area, people are feeling euphoric. That might be a time to take some profits off the table. Right now is a good time to observe and see what's going to happen. In my video the other day, I talked about this happening from the Evergrande China real estate conglomerate that announced that they were defaulting. I gave you the sneak peek before it became an official announcement. It was leaked, and we covered that on this channel. If you're not subscribed, I suggest that you do it to get the most up-to-date information on what the hell is going on in this world and the markets and things like that. And you know, I'm not someone who looks at charts and covers charts and technical analysis. I think that doesn't give you a big picture view of what's going on. I think that maybe that's good for trading if that's your thing. But on this channel, we cover adoption at large and how to navigate the markets the best way possible. And this just comes from me being in the markets, or the crypto market, for 10 years nearly, and based on my gut intuition plus what the macro markets are telling us. So let's go in and check out this chart and see kind of the resistance that has been happening at this 47.5 level. You can see, like, when we had this first big correction, which I covered in real time live on this channel and told you exactly what was going on. And you can see we have this kind of consolidation period happening right now where we're not getting any extreme movements up. And every time that it comes back down, it's bouncing off this 47.5 level. Boom, support, 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 support. Here it broke through for a quick second, just an hour or so, but we see support again. Let me first go to this chart I posted on my Twitter. Now you can see this is the 2016 and 17 bull run. We saw multiple times, again, I covered this on December 10th, a few days ago on my Twitter account. If you're not following on there, make sure that you do that too. I cover my altcoin picks as well as general market sentiment and market news on my Twitter as well. But you can see in 2017 and 16, we had all of these big pullbacks, 38%, 38, 33, 38, 36, 30%. And this first one, which is kind of seems like where we are in this market, in my opinion, as I think that we're headed into a big, huge, crazy super cycle. You can see this first pullback. This is a weekly chart right here. 38% would put Bitcoin from its all-time high at 69,000 down to the 42,780 level. Now, we haven't hit that yet from this correction, but we could go there before we shoot back up. Now, this pullback lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 or 12 weeks. Right now, we are currently, this is an hour, let's say we are currently about 5 weeks into this pullback. So we could see another 5 weeks or so of this kind of indecisive, volatile behavior, which would put us kind of into mid-January as far as where I think, as long as this potentially could last. And in that time, I'm not sure which direction it will go. We could see upward momentum, but we could also see a pullback all the way down to potentially $42,000. And I think, but what has been demonstrated here is so much buy pressure at this 47.5 level that unless we break majorly below that, I don't expect it to break below that. There's just too many people willing to buy at this 47.5 level. As you can see on this weekly chart right here, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks into this correction, which means that we could go another 5 to 7 weeks. And like I talked about in my market cycles video before, I think that we're going into these smaller market cycles that we're not going to probably see an 80% correction for 3 years at a time again. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think we're way too mature in a cycle to see that. And if you go back to this market cycle video that I posted, you can see that I talk about some other examples. For example, in 2021, from May up until May, June, July, August or so, we were in this we were in this bear market. So right now in the immediate short term, I hope that you guys took some profits up here, and which I encourage you guys to do when we start to see these bubbly kind of markets. This year we had 3 weeks of extreme bullish movement, and then boom, followed by 1 week of a little bit of a pullback, but then 3 more weeks of uppish, very bullish. And I know everybody was feeling extremely good at that time. Every YouTuber was talking about how they were crushing it with all their picks and blah, 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 and everybody was kind of living on cloud 9. That is when you would have seen extreme greed in the indicator of the crypto fear and greed index. And that would have been a great time to take some profits off the table. I did. I pulled away, took some profits off the table for something like this. Now I've got quite a bit of stable coins sitting on the side, ready to buy back in. And I have been doing that on the video I made about my top altcoin picks of things that were being traded on the market right now, what to be buying in the dip. You can go check that video out too. And that's exactly what I was using it for. And so now let's go into some supporting evidence for where I think that we're heading. So Bitcoin hash rate has come back to an all-time high. What does this mean? This means that there's more miners around the world who are supporting and securing the Bitcoin network, which means that they are using an extraordinary amount of energy. And for anyone who might be talking crap about Bitcoin using energy, well, yes, it currently uses a tremendous amount of energy, but if I can think of one thing that is worth spending energy on, that would be a sound monetary system for the entire world. So this is security, but what this means is it's going to cost, because there's more competition in earning that block reward. So every time that a block is mined on Bitcoin, that is a reward being paid out, and that reward has to be worth it for people to compete in this all-time high of hash rate or difficulty it is to mine a block, which means that it's going to take more energy, more cost, and the payout must be worth it. So the miners are really where a lot of almost all of the free Bitcoin come from, and they have to make a decision if they're going to buy or sell. Now, if it's a lower hash rate, lower competition, they can basically sell their Bitcoin to the market with more profits. But when this gets heated up and this competition comes to all-time high, the cost goes up to mine that block, which means that the cost of Bitcoin has to go up for it to remain sustainable, which means that miners are probably going to be selling less Bitcoin in the market today and waiting for the price to go up before they start selling again. This is a very good indicator that we are still in a bullish sentiment, at least as far as the miners go, and sell pressure of Bitcoin into the market. Now, this other chart shows that we are at an all-time low of Bitcoin on exchanges, which means that people aren't going to be selling into the market. And so there's all kinds of indicators here that suggest that we are headed in an upward fashion, unless something significant happens in the macro markets, right? So we saw Evergrande coming into a default. Now, in the article, they talk about restructuring. So more than likely what's going to happen is Evergrande will not go out of business. What will happen is they are now working on restructuring. The CEO had to sell a lot of his shares, which didn't bring him down that much. He went from like 61% ownership to like 58.5% ownership. But they basically took those shares, securitized them as collateral in case they do go into full default and bankruptcy. Then they can use that money to repay debtors or equity holders. So they're going to restructure, and more than likely what will happen is they will be just fine. Business will be carried on as usual. They will probably get some debt relief from the government. And I think that we had this big drop off, and again, I think it was a coordinated effort to reduce the price, allow buying back in Bitcoin at a reduced price before we see this massive trajectory upward. So again, guys, that's where I think that we're headed in the market. We have a few more weeks more than likely left of volatile markets, probably hitting this support line of $47,000. Maybe it comes back down to $42,000. I can't imagine it dropping down below that. There's just way too many people looking to buy in. If you have a big variety of altcoins, and you want to take some money off the table to maybe buy into some other opportunities that you've been looking for. I mean, look at Elrond is down 50% from the all-time high right now. Great buying opportunity if you ask me. So what I'm doing right now too is I'm looking at my portfolio every single day and looking for the coins that are pumping. Maybe they've got some good news. They pump 25, 50%. I'm going to take a little profits off those right now and maybe use that to buy into something that I've been looking to buy into for a long time that I didn't have the opportunity to buy into when it was at all-time high. Now it's a great time to buy in. We know that Elrond will more than likely go to the all-time high quite quickly and probably even explode past that. So that's a great example of something I could buy into. I'm already holding a lot of Elrond, so I probably won't be doing that, but there's a lot of other things I've been looking to get into that I haven't had the opportunity to do yet. Let me know if you would like me to continue to make market videos like this to give you my perspective on where we're headed, where we've been, and what kind of moves I'm making. So make sure you subscribe, leave some comments. That's the best way to make sure that this video goes out to a lot of people. Try to help me grow this channel. Make sure that you smash the like button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.